within your work, is there a final act / decision when it is finished, when it is made?
It's, because what we make is so different, like on a day-to-day basis. There are different types of making all the time, so it'd be hard to say that there was an act that went across the whole of them. I think that when it's a piece it's only dead simple stuff really, not all that philosophical for me, but I think that the final act of achieving a finished piece of print is like a book, is got to have printed it 1,000 times, and I have to have a quite scrappy looking stapled together version of it. I have to see every page as it will be, and then it's done, you know what I mean, once I'm happy with every page. But then those processes don't exist in all other sorts of projects, like say an online project doesn't go through that level of process because it's somebody else finishing it basically. So the point at which that's finished is usually the deadline actually.
So would you consider then, you're saying it's finished when you've made design decisions up until the nth degree?
Yeah.
Not when it comes back from the printers or when it goes live online?
Yeah, well there is that, I've not even thought of it that way, but there is that, like, how nervous you get before you get a project back from the printers. I remember when I first started here, I used to be in this other studio on the attic floor, and when the buzzer used to go and it was the printers have got your book you've just done or whatever, I used to run down the stairs saying to myself, please let it be alright, like I used to be really worried about stuff. So yeah, I guess then that is the point. When it's a physical object, the point of being complete is when you've got it in your hand. But the design process that has to come a bit before that, the point where that's complete. With say something physical like a book, it's just that having to see it. It doesn't matter how scrappy you've made it, but having to just see it. Because I always do that thing where I make the whole book and then go back through it, and then if there's a page I don't like, redo the page again. Not redo it, but re-sort out what I don't like about it, print it out again, stick it in the thing, and then see how it works as like a bit of a pace. Like, do all the pages drop right? Is the big image happening in the right place? But that's hard to do when it's like a kind of like say an online piece of work. You kind of go through all those processes, but they're sort of on screen, and then it's got to go to someone, and then they've got to put it online. They've got to basically reprogram it. Then you go through a whole other world of checking their work. So yeah, I don't know. I thought this conversation would be all about me going, well, it's the client, isn't it? They say it's done, and the budget says I've got no more time to spend on it. But it's probably because I've never really thought about when was the point when any project in there, when I went, that's done now. I don't know what I did. It goes back to that taste and intuition. It's probably wherever the hell that came from. It was the point where I went, I can't make that any better now. Or you kind of go, well, I could go on and on, but that's as good as I can get it, knowing it's got to go to print in 3 minutes' time or whatever. So there's a bit of that too. So I'm all over the place there.
How do you consider it then, when it's out in the world? When it exists, you've made it, you've passed it out into the public domain.
Yeah.
So someone's reading your book. Is that when it's finished, when it's in the customer's hands, or the potential students of the university is reading through the...
Yeah, I mean, I think that because the work in this studio is quite high turnover, I just don't even think that once things are created and done and we've got them in there and they're out, that's it, the project is done. It's like you don't even think about it again because the next one's really pressing. So it's like, yeah, I mean, the only time I've ever really experienced any weirdness with that was when we did the Sire book, and it was an opening of the degree show, and there was like 200 people there, all with this book in their hand, and it was finished. Clearly it was finished, but I was so worried that I would overhear someone go, fucking shit, this is, you know what I mean? Like it was done, and I knew that I'd done everything. That's where the insecurity comes in, because you think I've done everything that I could have done to get that as good as I can make it. So if you still don't like it, then I can't do any better than that, really. That's a level I can't reach.
So in terms of the authorship then, if we go down another route with it, you're happy to hand over into the public domain whatever product it is you've designed or been involved with the process. At that point, I'm out kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I think you have to make sure the processes, so long as the process has worked with the client in a way that you've formed a bit of a partnership, they trust you, you appreciate what they have to say, kind of like, you don't think they're an idiot, so you're not in a battle. So all that stuff has like already happened really, it's kind of ancient history by the time, some things take 4 weeks to get printed and then it's in your hand and you go, oh yeah, this did work. But yeah, it is, I think, that especially in a really high turnover of work, because what always happens is by the time something's gone to print, you've got the next thing that's really pressing. You're so involved with the next project in the commercial world, really. You're so involved with the next project, you just have to go, that's done. And in a way, there is a bit of relief as well.
So time's the ultimate motivator.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Because I think the relief is like, that was really hard, and finally I got it done. And there were times when I was doing it, I didn't think we were going to get it done, and got it done. And then, yeah, it's like, the time is the ultimate motivator, because the next thing's got to be done just as well, to a really high standard. So then you're focused on another thing that's got to be really good. So, yeah, I'd say that the process is totally ended once someone's got it in their hand, I think. Okay. I'm happy with that. I don't really mind that.
You can live in that world.
Yeah.
Cool. A lot of the stuff I've been reading about, because it gets into the art realm, is basically, it doesn't really matter what you've done as a designer. It's what happens at the other end when someone picks it up and looks at it.
Mm-hmm.
And what messages they take from it.
Yeah,
and everything else. But I'm kind of sitting with you as a designer. You've got to finish things, otherwise you'd be there forever and nothing would ever be produced. So I take that on board, I think, as well.
Well, I went to Designs of the Year at Design Museum. It's well worth going, actually, even though it is 15 quid. It's quite a lot. Went to Designs of the Year, and it's like the pieces of design that I really liked weren't graphic design. I wasn't really that. Some of the graphic design was okay, but I wasn't really that bothered about a lot of it. I think that the ones that I was like, fucking what a great idea. I voted for Monument Valley, because I just think that, I think that it's true actually that, the piece of design that are kind of affecting someone's life, that's what it should be doing.